Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be setting up some of these lights here to go around the water feature and the paths, so it's really nice and easy to see for people. So we've got this here, this is a coil of wire, we've got the AC transformer, we've got the controller. This here lets you put it on for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, dawn to dusk. It's got a daylight mode, and also straight on or straight off. We've got two of these light up spotlights, which you can see here. That's one of them. I don't know where the other is. And then we've got a bunch of these here. So it says we've got 10. So we're going to have to figure out where we can put these all. So right now, I'm going to get it all out already, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here is our sensor here. You've got the daylight sensor, and also the indicator light to let you know if it's on or not. You've got off, on, dawn to dusk, which utilizes the daylight sensor. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, and 8 hours. This is the cable for it. Now somewhere in here, there is a plug. Here we go. So this plug here plugs into the bottom of this. So I'm going to clear this off, and we're going to start making these. So here's one of the spots. Looks like it's already been made. It's a bit loose. But, yeah, as you can see, there's a bulb in there. And then in here, we've got a bunch more to have to make up, like this. And somewhere in here, we've got bulbs. Here's where the bulbs would plug in. So it's going to be fun. Right, let's get started. Okay, so this light cover was already made up. Now the top was already on, and now I'm having to put on some extra rings. These here prevent the sunlight directly hitting the clear plastic, so it slows down the disintegration of the plastic from the sun, as the UV rays eventually breaks down the material. These fins also direct the light down to the ground to make it easier to see the ground instead of it spreading out and lighting things that you don't really want. As you just saw, the points on the bottom of the bulb connector, there are spikes that stab into the wire, which makes a great connection. I've already put the bulb into this one and assembled the stake. Now I have to do this 100 million times. No, just kidding. Just a few more times until I get the rest of the lights assembled. The bulb goes in. Now I'm just making the stakes because for whatever reason I don't want to finish making the other bulbs. Okay, now here we are, back to doing this. Now, these were quite frustrating. I'm not sure if they were the wrong size, but there were little clips in the white plastic that the dark green UV protector and directors just didn't clip on and twist properly. That's why you can see me struggling here a lot, because they just kept on popping into place and misaligning. Now we're going to speed this up. So now I am putting a cable through one of the stake stems so I can test a light. Now these lights have sharp points in the ends of them so that they stab directly into the wire. which makes it not only easy to make and put together, that's why it's called DIY, but it also makes a pretty good connection if, you know, the spikes line up well with the cables. Here I am lining the spikes up with the cable, and I'm twisting this knob, which gradually pushes against the plastic cable until the spikes crush and puncture the plastic and go directly into the wires, the copper wires or aluminum wires or whatever metal that they're using to conduct the electricity. It's usually copper, but again, it could be anything. See, screwing it on, squishes the wire, pushes the wire into the prongs stab it, and makes a good connection with the copper. Now I'm putting it in its holder. Now I'm fiddling trying to get that wee end out. I probably should have put the end as far in as close to the outlet of where the cable goes out, but I'm not sure how it was going to fit. So here we are, putting the stem onto the actual head, and then here's a stake, and the stake goes into the stem. By the way, this isn't the correct terminology, they could be called something else, but for me I'm just calling it these. Now that that's on, we are going to put the hat on. I like to call it the hat, but anyway. Or maybe I'm not going to put the hat on just yet, and maybe I'm going to test to see if it works. We'll do that later. Put the hat on, we'll do the hat later. Cool, let's see if it works. And hey presto, we have light. Now currently, the light should be on a daylight mode, so if it gets too bright it automatically shuts off. Here I am confused, wondering why it's turned off. There you go, turned it back on, and then now it's just straight off. Turned it back on to daylight mode or on. And I also turned it on to some of the hour modes, but the hour modes only work when it's dark. As you can see, bring the light close, it turns off. So when the sun comes up, it turns off. And when the sun goes down, it turns on. And then when you have it set to some hours, it will last for 2 hours after sun goes down, then the light will go out, and then you can use it the next day. Okay, so this is my bedroom here. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to drill a hole through my bedroom floor to run the power cable for the transformer. The transformer takes it down to 12 volt, from 240 straight down to 12 volt. Then it goes through that controller, and then from that controller we get a small plug which is about this size. That kind of size, well, smaller, probably that size. And there's a grate, there's an air grate down there. And I'm going to bend the grate, and then I am going to drill a hole through the floor, pass the cable through, and the cable's going to be secured to the house. Now here's one of the stakes. So I've put the stakes where it's going to be most important. This one here I'm actually going to screw to the wall. Of course, we're going to have to leave some space for the actual dome top light. Then the cable's going to run along the side of the house. And then we're going to come out down here. So the cable's going to run along behind this. Going to come out, we're going to connect in here, and then have our light here. Cable runs through. Now, this path. I need the cable on the other side of it, and I've had many thoughts. We can not put that light in, and we can run it along that down pipe, then down and then into the ground, or we dig under the path. So I'm gonna dig under the path. We'll come back to that. Cable will run through. We've got another light here so we can see where the pond is when it's dark. And then, so before we get to that light, I'm going to install a spotlight here, which is going to direct the light out so it illuminates the water feature and the plants. Then we come to this one. The cable goes down under this. And then this here is going to be filled with gravel, so we're going to have the cable running to the gravel. I'm going to put another spotlight here, so it kind of directs out that way. Kind of, you know, like that. Then the cable is going to run behind here into that stake light. Then run along. A lot of this we're going to dig out. But this isn't going to be permanent. Well, it is going to be permanent, but I'm not going to dig the cables for this area into the ground. I just need to drape the cable over it all, and we can always reposition, take the stakes out, rip all of this up, and then run the cable through underground. So then the cable's going to go over here. Here's our next one. We're going to have to tidy this up because it interferes with our path. Then we've got another light here. Now, this is where I presume the wire, we're going to run out of electrical wire. So this one here, we might not even put in. We might just have that light that I attached in the last video clip, which is at the end of the set. Might have that there, or somewhere here, wherever the wire finishes. Of course, we've got a little bit of distance from where that stake is, but you can still see. Well, even at night, when I don't have any torches or lights, I can still find the path, but it'd just be nice to have a safer system. Okay. Gonna get to digging down there, and then we'll start running the cables and all that jazz. So sadly, the footage just disappeared on me, so you're not going to be able to see me digging, but you can see afterwards when I dug the hole and then pushed a pole through. After this video footage, it rained for about 2 to 3 days, and it got really wet to the point where both holes filled up with water. One was much muddier than the other one. I must have got mud in between the pipe because no water was transferring from one side to the other. It was clear one side and dirty the other. Now I'm digging it out to hopefully unclog the pipe, but the clog was actually all the way through the pipe. Here's some random footage of birds for no reason. So here I'm grabbing a drill. The reason why I'm grabbing this drill is because I need to drill a hole. Sorry, not drill a hole. Get my drill pump and pump out the puddles. Puddles. Finally, we get some good weather, and what do I start doing again? Well, of course, the project. And now, I'm going to start digging. Now that I have dug my hole, I'm now investigating to see what's clogging the pipe. Or try and unclog the pipe. And there we go, I unclogged it. Now, since I've got the pole through, I've tied a white piece of string or rope to a plug. This is my poor attempt at trying to get the white rope all the way through to the other end, but there either was still some mud still in the pipe, or there was something else in the way. So here I am hitting it back out, because I have an idea. So now I'm going to go ahead and just pull that thing out. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because I can't get the rope through, I need to put the rope through it using gravity instead of working against gravity. This is what I mean. So I'm going to pass the rope through it just like this, and then I'm going to hammer it through. And there it is. Now I pulled on the white string, but guess what? It didn't come out because friction was too great. So I put a peg in, made sure it definitely won't come out, and then I proceeded to hit the pole back through. So now I have a tunnel. So I no longer need this pole. Pulled it out. There's the string again. Presto. No more friction. Now I'm going to pull my cable through. It goes down right here, and I'll start pulling. The end is coming out right now. Look how dirty it is. I'm glad I've put the insulation and electrical tape around the plug poles, so you know, don't get dirty. So now I've got a big bunch of wires, and now I'm going to run it down the side of the house and, well, drill the hole and chuck it into my bedroom, where I'm going to have the power supply for the lights. So right in that corner, I'm going to have the controllers. So here I am in my bedroom. Now I'm going to get my drill out and not get the pump and actually start drilling through my floor. Now I did this when my mum wasn't here. So I drilled it some more, and you can kind of see daylight now. So right in front of my window, there is actually an air intake grate, which helped make the concrete go, well, dry quicker. And also keeps the air under the house fresh, so it doesn't get stinky when something dies. So here I'm attempting to push a metal wire through the grate on the other side so I can attach my plug and pull it through. Now, in the end, I didn't find the wire in this video clip, but I tried some more, managed to get it through, and then I attached it to the plug. And then I had to bend the grate, but actually broke it in the end. Now I'm pulling it through, and it's around about here that I find out that the plug's too big enough to fit through that small hole, which was the biggest drill bit size we had. So I decided to be a bit risky, keep the wire there, and drill some more. I'm still struggling to get it through. And now I'm drilling some more. And at some point I was like, okay, I've given up. I'm going to get the hole saws. And the reason why they're called a hole saw is because they drill a hole. A big hole. And they're pretty much like a saw drill bit. So So here I am drilling a hole, and I'm going to push through the floor any second now. Never mind, the drill piece came out, as you can see. And I had to pull it back up, and then chuck it in my drill bit again, have another go. And here we go, I can get the plug through! And then I have to unwrap it, untie it, untwist it. There we go. One dirty plug. Now I'm wrapping some electrical tape around this, the whole piece that got cut out. The reason why I'm doing this is so I can put it back and have it make a good seal with the floor instead of just falling through, because who wants a big hole in the middle of winter in their floor? Anyway, now I'm plugging the light cables in, well, light cable, into the controller. The controller's already plugged into the transformer. Now I'm going to screw the controller to the wall. I'm doing this because this is where it's going to get the most sun. So it turns off when it's sunny and turns on when it's dark. Now I'm going to grab the transformer, which takes the 240 volt, the main power coming through the outlet, takes it down to 12 volts, so it's safe for the 12 volt light bulbs, or else the bulbs won't last a millisecond. Now the transformer's plugged in, and now I'm going to turn it on and show you that it works. Hey presto, let there be light for the second time. Okay, now I'm going to get started on the other ones. If I stop messing with the zoom and brightness function on my camera. And I'll get started now. These are the rest of the lights. Now I have to put them all together. So making sure that the cable all fits. That's one without the light, obviously. And here comes the light. There are the pins that go into the wire, which make a good connection. You can see, screw it on, connects, push it down. Now in the end I had to do a lot of fiddling because some of the prongs didn't properly go into the cable. The cable was either not the right size, and the cable pincher things just misaligned, or I actually had to physically bend the cable pinchers. Here goes the hat. I just like calling it a hat because it looks like a hat. It's easy to describe too. Making sure I dig a hole. Now, I'm digging it really close to the path because if anyone's gardening, you don't really want the cable going to the middle of the garden and one day they dig it up with a spade. Hopefully that's when we're not here though. That's someone else's problem. Now I have to dig up this side as well because I still don't want cables in the way so no one trips over them, breaks themselves, or the lights. Or digs through them. This area that I'm digging now is going to be filled up with plants anyway, so there shouldn't be much digging happening if there's lots of flowers and plants there that you won't really be able to get access to anyway. Kind of going for like a tropical themed water feature area. Bright colours, bright flowers, big leaves. Lots of LED lights. I've got quite a few LED lights around the water feature anyway. Doesn't really matter. Gonna be amazing when it's Halloween or Christmas, as I plan to expand the lights on the water feature to the fence. That's if my mum allows. Rightio, here goes one of my spotlights. So it's kind of like the others, although you don't twist the pusher that pushes the wire against the prongs to make a connection. These ones here, you have to physically undo them and then push the cable into the prongs and then screw it back to the stake. These ones I found really difficult to try and get working, but in the end, once I got them going, they worked, although when you bump them, they flicker. Now we're going to dig under where the shingle's gonna go, eventually. And then the cable goes under the pond, well, under the edge of the pond, and then it goes down into where the shingle will be put. The reason why we're going to put shingle here is, one, it looks nice, and two, this is actually the overflow for when the bottom pond gets too full. I recently hooked the top pond up to our water tank, so instead of water being recirculated between the ponds, it comes straight from clean water to the bottom pond. Now this clean water is that rainwater tank that you saw with the spouting going down to it. We don't use it for anything else except gardening, so when we do use that tank, it's either gardening or water feature, and when it becomes close to winter, we get a lot of rain here in New Zealand, so I can turn the pump on whenever I want, and in a couple of days the water tank will be back to 100%, if not 103% overflowing. Anyway, continue. So continuing on with the lights. Now, I ran out of lights, ran out of wire. That was the last light, and then we have all of these other stakes that didn't get lights, so we've got a few lights left over. Here's some night footage. This is after I wiggled every single light to get them going. So potentially in another video I will extend the lights down to the fence, as I will find some new wire for them, and I'll use my waterproof heat shrink to get the job done. But as of for now, the system works just fine. We're going to have to take half of it out anyway, so we can dig up the garden and put in shingle or something there to make it look really pretty, and then we'll put the stakes in again, but with all the cables underground. And that's our last light there, quite far away from the gate. This is with the water feature lights on. The spotlights are on the exact same system, so when the sun goes down and the stake lights light up, the spotlights light up as well. There's one of the spotlights. As you can see, it's actually drizzling. It was fun, apart from the fact that it was raining most of the time. Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. I very much appreciate you watching to the very end. I hope this really helped with a project of your own. Let me know if you've got any questions or anything about this setup. And again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. At the very end, where the end screen is, pick one of the two options. You can pick the one best for you, which YouTube recommends, or you can pick one about me when me and Eli pretty much make a tutorial on how to heat shrink and solder. Thanks, bye.